final match between Georgia Tech and UC Davis. It's all gonna come down to this final solve. And just like that, UC Davis takes the whole thing. Berkeley shows San Diego they're not here to mess around. And Andrew takes that solve from Hamza. What a match. Welcome everybody to this round of 32 matchup of the Collegiate Cubing Championships. We have an excellent matchup for you guys this afternoon between the number 12 seed University of California at San Diego and the number 20 seed University of North Carolina, Charlotte. My name is Martin and I'll be your host this afternoon. Just to remind you, we'll be doing a best of 3 sets with each set as a head-to-head matchup of a best of 7 solves. The first team to win 2 sets will win this match and move on to the next round of the tournament. This is looking like this is going to be a bit of a closer matchup. San Diego is coming in with about a 3-second overall advantage over UNC Charlotte, but each individual matchup does not look like it's going to be UNC Charlotte's not going to be too disadvantaged. And this last matchup is going to be fairly close. Let's take a quick second to introduce our first 2 competitors. There on the left side of your screen, we're going to be having UC Davis. UC San Diego. First up is going to be Jimbo with that 12.12 second average. And on the right side of your screen, we're going to have UNC Charlotte. First up is going to be Nathan there with that 16.05 second average. So as you can see, UC San Diego starting off with a pretty significant advantage. But there's still a lot of potential here for UNC Charlotte. And don't get me wrong, it is going to be an uphill battle for them here. I think the name of the game for Charlotte here is going to be winning at least 1 set in these first 2 sets just to push this matchup into the last set where they're going to have, where it's going to be close, very, very close last matchup here, or last set for UNC Charlotte. This first set is going to be a tough one for UNC Charlotte to win. We'll see what they can do once we get started here in a second. Now, I think UNC Charlotte there on the right side of your screen is going to be starting off. But yeah, so this last set is going to be really, really close, and it's going to be the best opportunity Charlotte has here to upset UC San Diego, but they're going to need to win at least 1 set, one of these first 2 sets. So Nathan, they're starting off on Blue Cross here, it looks like. Pretty quick F2L going into OL, finishing up OL now, going into PLL. Some trouble recognizing that PLL case. It looks to be a G-perm. We're going to be getting a 16.88 from Nathan to start off this match. So as we saw with this introduction, that Jimbo has about a 6-second advantage over Nathan. So it's definitely going to be tough for Nathan to put pressure on Jimbo here. We'll see how Jimbo responds. Now Jimbo's a pretty well accomplished solver in his own right. He's actually 75th in the world for 3x3 blindfolded. So a really fantastic solver. Let's see how Jimbo responds to Nathan's 16.8. A little bit of hesitation there in F2L, but going quickly into PLL, finishing up with a U-perm. So that's going to be a 9.93 from UC San Diego. And so Jimbo is going to be able to take that first solve for UC San Diego. Now Jimbo has that top 75th in the world for 3x3 blindfolded. Nathan is also a well-accomplished cuber. He actually has the North Carolina state record for Scube, single at 1.64. So both accomplished cubers. Now we are alternating solves here. So Jimbo is going to be starting off the second solve of this first set. They're on the left side of your screen. We'll see how Jimbo is able to ride off of that 9.93. Looks like he's looking at white cross now.
8 seconds.
And it looks like we had a little bit of hesitation there in F2L, but super smooth turn and going quickly into PLL. Like that might have been an 8-second solve. You're going to get a 9.83 from Jimbo. So another great solve from Jimbo there. definitely putting a lot of pressure on Nathan. We'll see how he responds to Jimbo's 9.83. So he's looking at blue cross. And I'm thinking he puts green on top just because UNC Charlotte's got that green color there. Sure, he has lots of school spirit. Nathan going into OLL now. So you got U-perm. Can't remember which way to turn the U face. Looks like we figured it out eventually. So that's going to be about a 21-second solve, 21.96 from Nathan. So Jimbo will comfortably take that second solve in this first set. So obviously Nathan forgot which way to turn that the U face there on that U-perm. Hopefully you can shake that off, moving into the third solve of this first set. As I mentioned before, UNC Charlotte definitely has the potential to upset UC San Diego if they can win one of these first two sets and push it into the third set of this matchup. But the way this first set is shaping up, it looks like it's going to put a lot of pressure on the next set for UNC Charlotte to make sure that they win that, so they might have a chance to upset UC San Diego. We'll see how Nathan starts off the third solve of this set. So we have green cross from Nathan here. Looks like this is a faster F2L than we've seen from him. Good OLL going quickly into F2L. Oh, but massive lockups in PLL. Looks like he's maybe not too happy with that solve. We're going to get a 16.19 from Nathan. That PLL looked like it took maybe about 4 or 5 seconds. Could have been closer to a 12 or 13 second solve, but massive lockups on PLL cost him a lot of time, so he's going to get that 16.19. Shouldn't be too difficult for Jimbo to respond to. We'll see what Jimbo does here in his third solve of this first set. Jimbo starting off on white cross here. Some pauses in F2L, going quickly into PLL. Jimbo gets a 9.28. So another fantastic solve from Jimbo. Lots of fantastic consistency from Jimbo as well. It looks like Jimbo has some pauses in F2L here, but his turning is so smooth and controlled. Looks like it's not going to be a huge deal for him. He's able to continue to get these mid-high 9-second solves like we've seen the past 3 solves from Jimbo. Now set point, Jimbo just needs to win one more solve to take the first set for San Diego. This is not going to be ideal for Charlotte here. So Jimbo's going to be starting off the fourth solve of this set. We'll see what he does, if he's going to make a statement and make sure that UC San Diego wins this first set. We'll see what Jimbo does in his fourth solve. Going to be white cross from Jimbo again. We had some more hesitation and pauses in F2L, but a really quick OLL. Massive lockups in PLL. It's not great for Jimbo. An 11.72 from Jimbo. We saw some more pauses and hesitation in F2L. Massive lockups in PLL. Definitely not the kind of solve that we want to see if Jimbo wants to ensure that UC San Diego wins this first set here. We saw with Nathan's last solve that he didn't have potential to get around that 12 or 13 second range. The massive lockups in PLO cost him a lot of time. So we'll see how Nathan responds to this 11.72. Looks like we're going to be getting yellow cross here from Nathan. He's mixing it up a little bit. Some pauses in F2L. Some quick turning going into PLL now. Probably an A-perm. Messes up that PLL a little bit. He's going to have to restart. Looks like he's going OH to finish off this solve. See what he's able to do here. He drops the cube. He messes up his PLL again. But he's having a good time, so it's all right. We'll see what his final time is going to end up being. Going into OLL for the third time. Going to try to finish up PLL for the first time this solve here in his third attempt at PLL. Looks like he's going to get it, and he gets that 55-second range. He seems to be quite happy with that. Only took 3 attempts at PLL with a 54.69 from Nathan. He's having a good time, so it's all good. But Jimbo's going to take that 4th solve and win that set for UC San Diego. Let's take a second to look at that set again real quick. They say Nathan struggling a little bit there right off the bat with that 21.96, following that 16.88. Jimbo, remarkable consistency there with those high 9s and then a low 9 in there in the third solve. But some lockups and pauses in F2L cost him some time there in the final solve. Nathan having a good time with that 4th and final solve of the set. Jimbo gets a mean of 10.19, about around where we expected. He came in with a 10.12 average. So very consistent for Jimbo there. Nathan obviously just having a little bit of fun here. But UC San Diego is going to take this first set. Hopefully we can move into this next matchup here quickly. We'll take a quick second to introduce our competitors. There on the left side of your screen for San Diego, we have Christian solving on the GAN 12 with that 9.82 second average. There on the right side of your screen, we have Will solving on the WRMV 9 with a 13.09 second average. So as I said before, UNC Charlotte definitely has potential to upset San Diego here, which would actually be our first upset of this tournament. Our last solvers in the third set are very, very close. And so if Charlotte is able to take this set, it would push the result of this matchup into the third set and give them a very good chance to upset San Diego. But as we can see, it's an uphill battle for Charlotte here. Will coming in with about a 3-second disadvantage right off the bat from Christian here. We'll see if Will is able to keep Charlotte's hopes alive here. Christian there on the left side of your screen is going to be starting off. We'll see how Christian starts off. Looks like we may have some competitioners here. Some extra looks at the cue. We're going to be getting white cross here from Christian. Very quick solve from Christian. Excellent start. Then 8.89. Looks like if we did have some competition nerves there from Christian, he was able to handle them well. Start off very strong with an 8-second solve. Definitely going to be tough for Will to respond to that. Will starting off on yellow cross here. Some pauses in F2L. Going to cost him some time. It's going to be a 13.66 from Will. It's about what we expected from him, but Christian is going to be able to easily take that first solve. So not the best start from Charlotte to keep Charlotte in this matchup. It's not over yet. We still have at least 3 more solves to go. Will can definitely lock in a little bit. He's coming in with that 7.48 PB single, 10.82 PB average, so he definitely has some speedy solving in him. We'll see if he's able to channel that a little bit here. Maybe take a couple of solves from Christian to keep Charlotte in this matchup. Going to be getting yellow cross from Will here. Excuse me, white cross, I think. This would be a pretty good F12. Went into J-perm, it looked like. A 12.41 from Will. That's a little bit better here. Maybe put a little bit of pressure on Christian here. See how Christian responds to Will's 12.41. Very quick inspection from Christian. Be getting white cross as well. See who can do that white cross faster. Very quick F2L for Christian going into PLL already. Going to get an 8.41 from Christian. So he takes that second solve. Will clearly a little upset there. Christian has locked in a little bit. It looked like we had a little bit of some nerves there on that first solve, but if maybe I was wrong, or Christian is just handling them remarkably well, but he's been able to solve quite a bit faster than his normal average. Christian starting off the second solve of this, this third solve of this second set. Starting with white cross here from Christian. It's just a very quick solve from Christian. It looks like it's another 8-second solve here. It's going to be an 8.84 from Christian. Christian really stepping up, locking in, stopping Will from almost even having a chance to take some of these solves. Now, a lot hinges on this second set here. Will is really going to need to lock in, taking some extra breaths here before he starts his third solve. Hopefully he can lock in, maybe take a solve from Christian or start putting some pressure on him. Otherwise, UC San Diego is well on track to win the second set. Will on his third solve. Going into PLL now. G-Perm has some lockups, some hesitations. Not good enough to beat Christian here with a 13.19. Looked like Will was a little bit frustrated here, but Christian takes that third solve. So it's now set point. He just needs to win one more solve. This is not looking too good for Charlotte. Christian might ensure a UC San Diego victory here with this set. We'll see if Will is able to pull off a miracle of some sort here and push the result of this matchup into the third set. Yeah, I don't think Charlotte has won a solve yet. Jimbo took all 4 solves in the first set, so Charlotte still looking to put some points up on the board here. Will is going to be starting off the 4th solve of the second set. I think he's looking at probably white cross here. Some lockups in F12, but not too bad overall. Finishing off with a G-Perm. And it's a +2 from Will here. So that's probably going to be about a 13 or 14 second solve. It's going to be a 12.53 official time, but with the +2, 14.53. Not what we wanted to see from Will. I don't think that's what he wanted to see either. Christian has set up well to win this set for UC San Diego. We'll see what he does. It looks like UNC Charlotte's chances of hopes for an upset here are quickly fading away as Christian moves into PLL now. Very quick solve, no +2. That's going to be a 10.31 from Christian. And so he makes a statement. It takes that second set from Charlotte for UC San Diego. And so now UC San Diego has officially won this match and will move on to the next round of the competition. We'll still play out this third set, which is definitely going to be exciting for bragging rights, so we can have a better ranking of all the teams. Let's take a second to look at this set. Both competitors fairly consistent. Christian was coming in with that really high 9 average of 9.82, but he gets a 9.11 average here with 3 high 8s and then finishing off with a 10.31. Will, we see a lot of consistency from him as well around that mid 13 second range. He gets an average in this set of 13.45, right around what we expect to see from him. In a couple of places, Will maybe had a chance to take a solve from Christian. I'm looking there at that second solve and maybe even that last solve without that +2, especially when Christian had some lockups and pauses, giving him that 10.31. But Will not able to capitalize on those opportunities, not able to lock in hard enough and take a solve from UC San Diego. So Christian takes that second set. We'll be moving into our third set here. Take a second to meet our final 2 competitors, and this is definitely going to be a really exciting matchup. There on the left side of your screen, competing for San Diego, we have Kavin, also known as Guru, with about that 8.99 second average. And on the right side of your screen for Charlotte, we have Andreas solving on the RS3MV5 with an 8.71 second average. So for all intents and purposes, these 2 competitors have exactly the same average. Definitely going to be a very, very close matchup here. Now, Kavin, he solves Rue, And Andreas is a CFOP solver, so it'll be interesting to see how these two methods compare in this final set. UNC Charlotte still has some points to put up on the board here. So let's see if Andreas is able to take a couple of solves from Kavin here. Stop UC San Diego from sweeping Charlotte. Both of these competitors are very well accomplished. I believe Andreas has the Southeast Region OH single record of an impressive 7.32 second OH single. I think Andreas is maybe looking at yellow cross here.
8 seconds.
We'll see what he's able to pull off for UNC Charlotte. Using up all 15 seconds of inspection. We're going to be getting yellow cross from Andreas. Some pauses in F2L looks like, but quickly moving into PLL. It's an excellent start for Andreas with an 8.79. See how Kavin responds to that 8.79. See how Rue fares against this CFOP solve. How Kavin, he actually got second place in nationals a couple years back in OH. Very accomplished solver. It's a fantastic solve from Kavin. Very smooth and controlled. Let's see what that time is. An 8.50 from Kavin. So, as expected, these competitors are super close in times. Kavin takes that first solve by just 0.2 of a second. It's going to be neck and neck this whole set, I think. But Rue takes the win on that first solve. Kavin taking that first solve for San Diego. Hopefully Andreas will be able to maybe control some of those nerves and win a couple of solves here, put UNC Charlotte up on the board, maybe even take this set for them. Kavin starting off the first solve. The second solve. Excellent solve from Kavin again. An 8.01. Definitely going to put a little bit of pressure on Andreas here. See how he's able to respond to that. Now, if it means anything, Kavin has this PB single of an impressive 3.60 compared to Andreas' 4.41. As well, Kavin has about a 1 second advantage over Andreas' PB average with a 5.82 to Andreas' 6.54. Looks like Kavin may have some speedier solving in him, but Andreas coming in with that 0.2 second advantage in average. I'm not sure how much of that actually means anything. Andreas taking a good look at white cross here, it looks like. It's like a little bit smoother F2L. Having some trouble in OLO there. Oh, that was an excellent solve from Andreas, and he gets a 7.32. So UNC Charlotte finally putting some points up on the board. Andreas clearly happy with that solve there. Finally winning a solve for UNC Charlotte here in this final set by 0.7 seconds. And that might be the solve with the biggest difference in times we'll see this final set. Andreas will be starting off the third solve. Very impressive solve, even with some lockups, some hesitations in F2L, and some clear nerves here. Andreas is still able to lock in and get an impressive 7.32. We'll see how he follows that up here. Andreas getting ready to start off the third solve of this final set. Might be looking at red cross here.
8 seconds. 12 seconds.
So we're going to be yellow cross from Andreas. Very quick F2L move quickly into PLL. Maybe some lockups and hesitation there or something, but an 8.41 from Andreas. Still a pretty decent solve here. Probably if that PLL went a little bit more smoothly, would have gotten maybe a 7-second solve again for Andreas. Let's see how Kavin responds to that. Folks, this is just going to be a very close set. Kavin starting off his third solve here. Oh, some pauses there. Lockups. Some lockups with those end moves. And Kavin not able to stick that third solve, and he gets a 10.37. So Andreas taking another solve from UNC Charlotte. Finally, UNC Charlotte is in the lead. And now it looks like these competitors may actually have a chance at the top personal rankings as well. Right now, Jason Lee from UT Austin holds our top individual ranking with a 7.8 second average. Andreas with that 7.32 and a couple of low 8s. He has a shot at it. Kavin maybe still in the top 5. That 10.32 he just got is going to hurt him a little bit. We'll see how Kavin follows this up. Kavin starting off the fourth solve of this set. A fantastic solve from Kavin there. Very quick. 7.82. He's able to shake off some of the mishaps that happened with that 10.37, lock in at 7.82. See how Andreas responds to that. Kavin solves extremely efficient with using that roux method. Andreas having to turn a little bit quicker with some more moves on average using CFOP there. Andreas so far doing very well, holding up against that efficiency that we see with roux. See how Andreas responds to Kavin's impressive 7.82. Definitely a little bit harder to respond to. He's taking a good look at yellow cross maybe.
8 seconds. 12 seconds.
I think we'll be getting yellow cross here from Andreas. A little bit of pausing in. Oh, it's some massive lockups there. Messes up that F till. Looks like he has to restart his cross. Insert a couple of cross pieces back in. Going into OL now finally and finishing it with PL. Not a great solve from Andreas at 17.28. So Kavin takes that fourth solve. Meaning the competitors are now neck and neck again. 2 solves each. Looks like maybe those nerves got to Andreas. And that shot at maybe taking that top individual ranking from Jason maybe gone now with that 17.28. Charlotte is still absolutely in the running here to take this final set. It's been back and forth this whole time. Andreas is going to be starting off the 5th solve of this final set. We'll see if he's able to lock in here. Taking a couple extra breaths, taking control of those nerves. Just got to shake off that 17.28.
8 seconds.
Might be looking at yellow cross here, it looks like.
12 seconds.
He's able to shake off that 17.28. This is a much better solve. Some lockups in PLL cost him a couple of tenths of a second, but a 9.07 from Andreas. So he shakes off that 17.28 fairly well here. Probably not quite as fast as he wanted to see. Kavin responding to that 9.07. We'll see what he's able to do. This solve definitely a toss-up, like most of the solves we've seen. Quite smooth from Kavin here. Very, very smooth. And fantastic solve from Kavin. It's going to be a 7.41. He's clearly very happy with that solve. It's a very good solve from Kavin. So he takes that 5th solve for UC San Diego. So now it's set point. Kavin just needs to win one more solve for San Diego to take this final set. But Andreas still in the running here. It's looking like to me that both of these competitors have some nerves. Kavin maybe handling them a little bit better than Andreas. But we'll see moving into this 6th solve. This Kavin could make a statement here and end this set with a fantastic solve, but we'll see what he's able to do. A little bit less smooth than that last solve, but still a great solve. And is that going to be a +2? I think that thumbs down means it's probably a +2, but a 7.92. That's going to be a +2, I think. So it'll be a 9.92 official time from Kavin. Still a good solve. Andreas got to step up and lock in here. Other than that 17.28 we saw from Andreas, he's been solving pretty well under that 9.92 second solve. He's still got to lock in here. Still not secure. The set is still not secure for him. So Andreas responding to that 9.92, starting off his 6th solve of this final set. Looks like he's looking at white cross here.
8 seconds.
Andreas starting off on white cross. Very smooth. F2L is looking like going into Olo. He's got to lock in here. Got to pull this PLL together. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. 9.74. So Andreas just barely taking that 6th solve from Kavin. Now Kavin left the door open with the 9.92. Andreas just barely snagging that 6th solve. Clearly a little bit shaken up here, but he's got to relax. It's now the final set of this very final solve to decide who takes this final set. Man, it's going to be close. It's just going to be close. Andreas started off very hot. Kavin took a little bit of extra time to warm up, but the past 3 solves, Kavin has been solving a little bit faster than Andreas. That +2, excuse me, really left the door open for Andreas there. I think Andreas is going to be starting off the final solve. This is going to be a big solve. We saw that 7.32 early on from Andreas. We're hoping to channel some of that energy back into this final solve. Maybe stop UC San Diego from sweeping this matchup. Looks like Andreas is looking at white cross here.
8 seconds.
Hopefully he can handle these nerves. We know Andreas can solve quickly here. He's got smooth, controlled solving. Very fluid F-tail moving into Olo now, finishing up with the U-perm. Hopefully he can stick it. It's a fantastic solve from Andreas. It's going to be an 8.90. Maybe not as good as it initially looked to me. Definitely still a toss-up solve. Kavin has another 7 in the bank over Andreas, who just has the 1.7 second solve. It's gonna be close, folks. It's gonna be really, really close. We'll see what Kavin is able to do here. Smooth first couple of blocks. The last is, folks, it's gonna be close. Kavin gets a 9.71, not enough to beat Andreas. So Charlotte takes the final set in the very final solve. UC San Diego is not able to sweep Charlotte here. They still move on to the next round of the competition, but Andreas standing in the way of clinching the final set. Andreas very happy there, celebrating with his team. It's a fantastic showing for UNC Charlotte. Very kind of a roller coaster of a set there, up and down for UNC Charlotte, but they're able to stick that final set, take that solve. You can see UNC Charlotte waving goodbye. Clearly very happy with that, the performance in that final set. Then our winners there on the left side of your screen, UC San Diego, moving on to the next matchup. Looks like they have a live audience as well. They'll be moving on to face off against number 5 UT Austin. Let's take a quick second, a look at this exciting final matchup. It's a back and forth for the most part of this, and early on. Kavin taking a solve, then Andreas taking a solve. Kavin taking a little bit extra time to warm up, but then he gets a couple of sevens. That 9.92 there, if you remember, was a 7.92, but then got plus 2'd into that 9.92. Andreas having some mishaps there with that 17.28, but he's able to recover well and finish off that final set. I said early on that both competitors maybe had a chance to put their names up at the top of our individual rankings, but that 10.37 hurting Kavin a little bit. That 17.28 from Andreas really hurting him. Looks like they don't quite have a bid for our top 5 spots, or maybe even top 10, but still fantastic solving from both competitors. Andreas able to stick that final solve and win by just 0.8 seconds for a UNC Charlotte victory of the final set. Now UC San Diego still taking 2 sets, so they'll move on to the next round of our competition. Let's take a quick look at our bracket here. See the winner of this match going on to face off against UT Austin. UC San Diego will face off against UT Austin. Definitely going to be a tough match up there. Now, folks, just to remind you, later on, we have number 17 UC Irvine versus number 16 Houston tonight at 5 p.m. Central Time on this YouTube channel as well. That's going to be a really, really close, exciting matchup. Each competitor is just about a second within their opponent. So a very exciting matchup, and they'll go on to face off against our number 1 seed, UW-Madison. So congratulations to UC San Diego. They'll move on to the next round of our competition, but Andreas standing in the way of them sweeping that matchup. So UC San Diego takes 2 sets, UNC Charlotte taking 1, but they'll move on to face off against UT Austin. Later tonight at 5 p.m. Central, UC Irvine versus Houston, a very exciting matchup. You won't want to miss that one. Very, very close. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we hope to see you again later tonight for our next matchup.